How would humans handle life on Mars? Well, today on AM Northwest, we'll meet a local man who spent 2 weeks in a simulated Mars environment right here on Earth. Welcome back to AM Northwest. How would you like to take a trip to Mars without ever leaving Earth? Well, a Portland writer did just that, spending 2 weeks in the Utah desert, which doubled for the Red Planet. And here to share his experience, please welcome Hugo Award-winning science fiction writer David Levine. Nice to have you here. There's a great fascination with getting to Mars, and there was talk of going to Mars. That program seems to have died a horrible death. But,
yes.
But the idea for you was to simulate life on Mars. What was that like?
It was...
Or rather, you know, why would be the first question. Why?
We go to Utah to simulate Mars because there's a lot of things to be learned even without actually going to the Red Planet, even without actually living in vacuum. You still have the same experience of being in a confined space with a small number of people, being completely dependent on each other without the possibility of help from Earth, being required to fix anything that goes wrong using only what you have there. It's all improvisation, it's all ingenuity, it's all making do and fixing things when they need to be fixed.
What was the idea behind it? Was it that you wanted to learn things? Why did you specifically go? Why was it important to you?
I went because I'm a science fiction writer, and I wanted to learn what we call telling details. When you write a story, you put in these little details of things that make you go, oh, yes, it would be just like that, or things that make you think, what an amazing experience that would be. So I wanted to have the physical experience of hearing the air in my space helmet, of feeling the Martian dust crunching under my boots. And more than that, I learned emotional lessons about what it is like to be in such an isolated environment, someplace where you are totally dependent on the small number of people who are in that can with you.
What's the fascination with Mars? I mean, what practical purpose would it serve to actually go there?
Mars is the most Earth-like planet that we know of. It's almost like Earth in that it has an atmosphere, but not a thick atmosphere like Jupiter's. It's got a rocky core like Earth's. It's really very similar to Earth, and so by going to Mars, we could learn a lot about what Earth-like planets are like, what Earth is like. You go to Mars to learn about Earth, to learn about the history of the solar system, to understand things that you can only learn so much from looking at one specimen, one planet. If you look at two planets, now you know an awful lot more about what the two of them are like and how they differ from each other. And Mars can teach us about the history of Earth.
What was the human experience like? In other words, the people that you're with, it seems like you're in really confined space. How did everybody get along? I'm sure you didn't discuss politics. I mean, how do you survive in that kind of environment? And
it was, I mean, we did actually talk about politics some. It was kind of intriguing. It was an international crew. We had people from Colombia and Belgium, as well as the United States, and we had some interesting talks about why do you Americans do things like this. The six of us got along very well. We were an immediate team. We bonded. We were almost like family. I mean, I cried when it was time to go home. And some other crews have had some interpersonal problems, but we didn't. We got along really well.
I suppose that the Utah desert was because of its, as we look at the video, we can imagine that's what Mars looks like.
Yes.
Was there anything that you learned from this short mission that would actually be applicable to a Mars mission?
We learned about how the actual habitat architecturally works and doesn't work. We had surveys that we had to fill out that went back to the Jet Propulsion Laboratory about how the space worked. We were doing a food study with the dehydrated foods that we were eating every day.
And how
do you
tasty
like it?
was that?
Actually, some of them were really good.
Well, you have a good attitude.
Yeah, no, it was the same camping food. That I mean, you can go down to you know, REI or Andy and Bax, get these dehydrated foods that you would take with you on a camping trip. It was the same stuff.
And after a couple of weeks, it's not bad, huh? if you could go to Mars, if they said, all right, David, we want you on the first Mars mission, would you go?
Wow. This was only 2 weeks. See,
Yeah,
a real Mars mission would be more like 2 years.
Right.
I'd be
With a lot
little...
of "Are we there yet?"
Yeah, yeah. Are we there yet? You should have thought of that before we left Earth.
Yeah.
I don't think I would. I'm 49 years old, and 2 years out of what remains of my life, I have other things to do here. It was a great adventure for 2 weeks, but 2 years, not so much.
Okay. Well, we want to link folks to your blog on our website at katv.com. Thanks for sharing it with us. We appreciate it.
Okay, thanks a
Really
lot.
is.